Most people lived in small farming villages like this, surrounded by muddy roads, wooden fences, and simple thatched cottages. Life was centered around agriculture, and families worked from sunrise to sunset, growing crops, tending animals, and producing their own food. Cattle were valuable assets, used for milk, meat, and pulling carts. Homes were modest, often smoky inside from open hearth fires, with little comfort by modern standards. Clean water, medicine, and sanitation were limited, so disease was common and life expectancy was short. Yet these villages were the backbone of medieval England, where hard work, faith, and community shaped daily survival. Faith played a central role in everyday life. The village church was more than a place of worship, it was a heart of the community, where people gathered for prayer, news, festivals, and important decisions. Church bells marked the hours of the day, calling villagers to work, rest, and worship. Most people were farmers dependent on the land, so they looked to religion for hope during times of drought, disease, and harsh winters. Life was simple and hard, but shared faith and strong social bonds helped people endure the hardships of medieval life. Behind me stands one of medieval England's great stone castles. In the year 1400, castles like this still dominated the landscape, serving as homes for nobles and powerful lords. These massive walls were built for defense, designed to withstand attacks and protect the people inside. Guards watched the gate while banners flying above the towers showed the family who ruled this land. For ordinary villagers, castles were symbols of wealth, authority, and control. They reminded everyone who held power in medieval England. Welcome to a medieval village market in England around the year 1400. Weekly markets like this were some of the busiest and most important places in village life. Let's take a look at what they have. Farmers and craftsmen came here to trade grain, eggs, cloth, tools, pottery, and even livestock. For many villagers, this was the best chance to buy supplies they could not make at home. Markets were also places to hear news, meet neighbors, and exchange stories from nearby towns. In a world without supermarkets or modern shops, places like this kept the local economy alive. Nightfall in medieval England was very different from today. After sunset, villages became dark and quiet, with no electricity or streetlights to brighten the roads. Most homes were lit only by candles, oil lamps, or the glow of open hearth fires. Families gathered indoors for warmth, cooking, prayer, and storytelling before sleep. Outside, only the sound of wind, animals, and distant voices filled the darkness. Once the sun went down, daily life slowed completely, and the village rested until dawn. Travel in medieval England was slow, difficult, and often dangerous. Roads like these were usually muddy, uneven, and hard to pass, especially after rain. There were no paved highways or modern transport, so most people traveled on foot for short journeys or used horse carts to carry goods and supplies. Long-distance travel could take days and expose people to bad weather, accidents, or thieves along the road. For many villagers, simply reaching the next town was a major journey. Life for peasants in medieval England was built around hark and nench. Many farmers did not fully own the land they worked. Instead, they often teased up primaries to several executives in Lakrai that were learning to tats and ploughreds, or harvesting crops for the local lord. In return, they were allowed to live in the village and farm small plots for their own families. For most people, survival depended on both the land and the demands of those who ruled it. Healthcare in medieval England was very different from today. Trained doctors were rare and usually only available to the wealthy or in larger towns. Most ordinary villagers relied on herbs, homemade remedies, prayers, and the knowledge of local healers to treat sickness and injuries. Women often passed down remedies using plants like sage, mint, and rosemary. For many people, recovery depended as much on faith and luck as it did on medicine. In a world without modern hospitals, even minor illnesses could become dangerous.